Hours melted into miles as Iris clung to the back of the red dragon, soaring over villages, lakes, and forests. The sheer size of the dragon allowed for a comfortable perch for Iris to sit upon, and his neck, towering and formidable, shielded her from the wind. However, despite these protections, her fear of the dragon and flying kept her on edge, tense and distressed. The sun was in the west when he descended and landed in a field of terrified sheep.
"Get down, little mouse,"
he said. It took over 5 minutes for her to climb off his back. Her muscles were stiff and spent. She watched in awe as the air became hazy, like a red shimmer on a hot summer day playing across the horizon. And then a man stood in the dragon's place. A very well-dressed man, in fine leather with gold accents. For the first time, Iris wondered who he was.
"You must be hungry,"
he said as he eyed the sheep. Birds were chirping in the trees, and a gentle breeze blew across the field. She looked at the sheep, huddled in a tight, frightened group at the far end of the field.
I do not eat sheep.
He looked back at her, a little surprised.
"Not even cooked?"
No,
she said, trying to find her voice.
I do not eat meat.
"Humans eat meat,"
he stated, still puzzled.
Yes, but witches do not, or tend not to.
"Ah, of course, you are a witch,"
he said, recognizing the truth immediately.
"The riddle of your eyes is now solved. Your hair, however, remains a mystery."
He began walking to the gate that led from the field to the road.
My hair?
Iris's long silver hair had fallen all about her while they had been flying, becoming a rat's nest as the wind had blown it about. She tied it back into a messy bun on the top of the head as she scrambled after him.
Did you not know that I'm a witch?
She asked as she caught him up.
"I do not know who you are. You are neither my charge nor my burden. You are my duty. I am to deliver you to Ebon Keep, to the master, and then my duty will be discharged. And that will be the end of our acquaintance, little mouse."
Iris,
she said, quietly.
"What's that?"
My name,
she said, a little louder.
My name is Iris.
He stopped suddenly, turning towards her. He was so close that she could feel his dragon heat. His gaze devoured her. She held strong. Though trembling, she stared back, looking into his obsidian eyes that flashed with red dragon fire. The world stopped, frozen and quiet. She felt as if she was falling into the Ebbingmere, the placid black lake of the dragons, hidden deep within the Stormhorn Mountains. Finally, he turned and continued walking.
"Let us find you some food. Iris."
He did not offer his name. Iris did not follow him immediately, taking a moment to catch her breath. She leaned over, shaking a little more violently, but feeling some small elation. She had done it. She had made space for herself.
I can do this.
She whispered to herself.
I can do this.
Standing upright, she ran after him. When they turned onto the road, he noticed that her pace was slower, and he moderated his speed to accommodate her shorter legs. After they had walked a mile or so, in silence, Iris asked,
"Where do we go, sir?"
There is an inn at the crossroads, the Horse and Wheel, another mile down the road. I know the keeper, and he knows my nature, but he prefers I do not land too close as I spook the horses.
Iris, much like the innkeeper's horses, found the dragon far less frightening in his human form.
"Are we dining at the inn?"
We are dining and sleeping at the inn, which shall break our journey here.
"Dining and sleeping? I have no money, sir. You have swept me away with nothing but the clothes on my back."
He stopped and looked at her quizzically.
I do not need your money.
"So, you are to pay for the both of us?"
Of course.
"Oh, I see."
She cocked her head slightly.
"It seems I am your charge and your burden, as well as your duty."
Humour snuck into the dragon's eyes as a small smile played across his mouth.
Perhaps so.
He said before he began walking again.
For today.
As they neared the crossroads, traffic became heavier and shops appeared along the road. They were approaching from a small side road that intercepted a larger road a few hundred feet before the Horse and Wheel. 3 major roads all intersected near one another, and a busy market town had arisen around the intersection to support the travellers.
"I have heard of this place,"
said Iris as her eyes widened. Everything was new and enchanting. The travellers, the horses, the traffic, the noise, the chaos. They were all fascinating to her.
"I have seen it on a map. This is Grimswell Crossroads."
She stopped to look around.
"One of these roads leads to Darkenfell, and another to the Stygian Reach."
The dragon found his charge bemusing as she looked up at him with expressive eyes and a grin, her excitement overpowering any fear or trepidation.
"I never dreamed that I would actually be here one day."
Her delight was infectious. Her expression lacked artifice, and the Red Dragon, a veteran of court politics and intrigue, found it refreshing.
That one
He pointed to the road leading southwest.
leads to the Stygian Reach, and Darkenfell
He pointed to the road leading east.
is that way.
"I have never been much of anywhere.
She confessed as they began walking again.
I've only maps and books and imagination to guide me."
And which of the 2 destinations does your imagination wander to most often?
"Oh, Darkenfell. Definitely. The grand guild halls are there. One can only imagine what they are like. Have you been?"
Yes.
Replied the dragon, falling into an ease with his travelling companion.
I was last in Darkenfell because
He paused as he searched for a diplomatic word.
a concern arose regarding some members of the Thieves' Guild. My house is close with the family who govern that guild. I travelled to Darkenfell for advice and assistance.
"The Thieves' Guild?
Iris became enraptured.
That guild hall is not even on the maps. Do they have a guild hall?"
Come,
He said, smiling at his charge.
we are here.
They walked into the bustling courtyard of the Horse and Wheel, passing 2 ostlers changing horses. Iris slowed and then stopped, watching all the activity with wide-eyed wonder.
Bring her down here, John.
The dragon grabbed her by the elbow and led her forward, moving her out of the way of several patrons, leaving the inn to catch the post.
Hurry, Liam. We don't want to be late.
He opened the door to the inn and ushered her inside. However, he could no more gain her attention inside than he could outside, as she gleefully drank in the atmosphere of the inn. A man behind the bar waved at them as they walked in.
Lord Darkwood.
The dragon replied with a nod as he guided Iris to a cosy, secluded table tucked in the corner.
Lord Darkwood,
Iris asked as they sat down.
is that your name?
Lord Darkwood looked at Iris with a closed expression, but did not answer.
I have read of the Darkwood family.
Iris continued.
It's very prestigious. Many great deeds.
Perhaps my ancestors,
Replied the dragon.
but I do not care for such things. I am no statesman, nor hero.
Then he smiled, his quirky little smile at Iris, and said,
I am an isolate, as you find me.
But to be son to such a family.
One may withdraw. One need not be chained to the life one is born to.
The innkeeper, the man from behind the bar, approached the table.
Atterbury,
Lord Darkwood said.
I'd ask you a favour.
Atterbury said, scratching his head and looking abashed.
The magistrate of the Reach is coming and needs lodging. I know you asked for 2 rooms.
He said before trailing off.
But seeing as it's you, Lord Darkwood,
He continued.
and us being on such good terms, I thought I'd ask if one would do.
Lord Darkwood was put out. But Atterbury, who owned the largest inn at the Crossroads, was a valuable ally and a trusted friend.
I understand. Turning away the law of the Reach is not a good idea. He has a memory and a penchant for reprisal. The 1 room will do.
Thank ye.
Atterbury said, his expression lifting.
And your supper be on the house tonight.
We will need a private room for supper.
No,
Iris interjected so suddenly and so forcefully that both the innkeep and the dragon looked at her. Mollified by their startled expressions, she softened her tone.
if we may, I would like to eat in the main room.
She did not know how long her unplanned flight from home would last, but she did not want to miss a moment of it. Atterbury felt the tension as Darkwood bristled at the unexpected disobedience.
Please excuse me.
Atterbury said, and quickly left them alone. Darkwood went straight to the point.
You will stay in the private room. The Crossroads is a dangerous place for an untrained and ignorant witch.
Ignorant, sir.
Replied Iris, her irritation rising.
I prefer naive.
One is the other.
Replied Darkwood just as tersely.
Ignorance suggests lack of education. I do not lack education. I lack experience. Naive, sir.
Her expression was resolute and fiery.
With whatever term you wish to apply to yourself, you are not to leave the private rooms.
To ask such a thing of someone who has wished to travel her whole life, is that not cruelty?
Darkwood's expression darkened at the mention of cruelty.
Ignorance, Iris.
He said, his voice deepening.
Your books have clearly not educated you to the dangers of the Crossroads.
His eyes deepened and his face hardened. Iris knew there was no accord at the end of this road. She softened, but was still desperate.
Please do not confine me.
She implored, emotion welling inside of her.
I have lived a life of confinement. For 25 years, I have lived a limited and small life. But today, I have a chance to see beyond the borders of my village, beyond the pages of my books. Please do not confine me.
Her plea pierced his heart. He knew what it was to live a life of confinement. He sighed and leaned back.
Iris,
he said, rubbing his head. After a moment's thought, he stood and joined Atterbury at the bar.
Atterbury?
He said as he motioned for Atterbury to accompany him. Atterbury, having known Darkwood for many years, took his cue quickly and led the dragon to a quiet room off the bar.
I need to eat,
said Darkwood.
And I also need that young woman to remain safe.
Aye, sir,
replied Atterbury.
She can stay in the main room, and I can easily keep an eye on her. I knew she was something as soon as she walked in. When a bloke lives on the crossroad for long as I have, he's seen a thing or two. I know a witch queen when I see one. Her clothes don't hide her hair.
Lord Darkwood became lost in his thoughts for a moment before he said,
It is best to keep one's thoughts to oneself, Atterbury.
Aye, that it is.
Suddenly, Lord Darkwood had a thought.
Do you own a lady's hat?
Aye, the missus do. Mind you, it's not fine, but it'll match her frock well enough, seeing as it's plain as anything.
Thank you, Atterbury. It is not you who is in my debt today. You are the one who has performed the greater favour.
Atterbury nodded. The favours between the two friends were too many to tally or track.
I'll fetch that hat.
Before you go, Atterbury,
the dragon said, stopping Atterbury as he turned.
I'll be visiting Clay's farm soon. Please give this to him as payment.
Darkwood handed a small leather purse to Atterbury. Atterbury chuckled.
Clay will be missing some sheep in the morning, will he? I'll see that he gets this.
When Darkwood returned to the small table in the corner, he found Iris looking up at him expectantly and a little anxiously.
Atterbury will watch over you while I am gone. Do not leave the inn.
Of course,
she reassured him.
And thank you.
He handed her a hat. It was ugly.
Wear this and do not take it off.
Why do I?
Iris began, but Darkwood interrupted her.
Wear the hat,
he commanded. She sighed. There had been enough provocation for one day. She put on the hat.
I should not be more than 2 hours.
Where do you go?
To eat.
With those words, he pivoted and strode out of the inn.